if you try and rip the world apart, someone will always put it back together. You can kill dreams. You can kill innocence. You can kill freedom. But you can't kill progress.
After 5 long years, we finally get the return of Adam Jensen and his augmented keepers in Deus Ex: Mankind Divided. Mankind Divided is developed by Eidos Montreal, the same folks that brought us his predecessor, Human Revolution. In Mankind Divided, we find ourselves in the dystopic future of 2029. It has been 2 years since the deadly AUG incident. An incident where just about every augmented person on the planet went nuts and started killing anyone left and right.
Thank you, David. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Sarif here has asked me to show the world how human enhancement technology can change it. After careful deliberation, I've decided I must do exactly that. Forgive me.
Oh! He tried it.
Now with naturals discriminating AUGs and segregating them, the world looks dim for those who willfully or unwillfully installed AUGs on them. Like last time, we find ourselves taking control of Adam, who now works for Interpol's Task Force 29, an organization tasked with combating augmented terrorism. Adam now lives in Prague, a city once on the leading edge of augmented society, now turned into a mechanical apartheid. After a horrendous train station bombing where you watch a mother die in front of her son, you're thrust into really the only main mission in the entire game. Sure, you have the prologue in Dubai and a really neat final mission in London, but they don't provide much meat in an already short game. If you were hoping for something of similar length to Human Revolution or the original Deus Ex, you're going to be disappointed, as the average romp through Mankind Divided will likely take around 15 to 20 hours. Now, a shorter experience doesn't necessarily mean that it is a bad experience, but due to a lackluster main plot, you'll kinda be wishing for more. Which in a sense is what my experience with Mankind Divided felt like. It's things like searching through Prague, which is a much larger area than Detroit or Hengshaw ever was in Human Revolution, and think, man, Prague is pretty sweet, I wonder when we'll get to the next locale. And then come to the conclusion that Prague is the only hub in the entirety of Mankind Divided. Though Prague might be the only hub in the game, god damn is it a well realized and developed one. In every nook and cranny, there's something to discover, a cover-up to be found, and a downtrodden side character to help. Which means in exchange for a really mediocre main story, we get some really well done and interesting side missions. I honestly remember more interesting stories and characters helping out an underground newspaper, stopping a cult leader from frying everyone's brains, and getting to the bottom of a serial killer case. Each quest was just as well crafted as the main mission, providing a great variety of verticality and direct or indirect methods of completing them. And that really has to be said for Mankind Divided. Although the main missions are not that interesting, the variety in the environments and cyberpunk jungles you venture through make it worth it. With these newer environments come new AUGs to play around with. Some are essential and adds a new dynamic like remote hacking, while some being neat just don't get used too much, like the Nanoblade launcher. Though what I feel with Mankind Divided is that Eidos and Square Enix is trying to lay down the framework for a trilogy. A lot of it can be seen in the vast improvements to the visuals. Unlike its predecessor, the characters actually resemble people instead of over-exaggerated caricatures. Lighting has improved quite a bit as well, and we get to see it put to good use in a daylight environment. Which I think is a first for Deus Ex, unless it already happened in Invisible War. In which case, I wouldn't know, since I really couldn't stomach my way through it. One small aspect that I miss when it comes to the visuals is the lack of Human Revolution's yellow filter. I know it wasn't the best in some areas, but it gave Human Revolution a very interesting and distinct aesthetic. Though a few people didn't enjoy the filter, I stuck around with it because I always thought it was caused by looking through Adam's sunglasses. Now on weapons, unfortunately, while there are improvements to the visuals of the weapons, I didn't really encounter any new weapons apart from the battle rifle, DLC, or the collector edition weapons. But while there may not be newer weapons, we do get new tools and a crafting system to go along with it. Most of the tools you craft is ammunition for the new augments like nano blades or pep packs. But we finally do get the classic multi-tool, which is just great to see. For those that don't know the multi-tool, it was a device introduced in the original Deus Ex that allows you to hack into just about any computer, keypad, lock, you name it. Honestly, I welcome the crafting system, as it allowed me to use weapons like the peps a lot more than I would have felt comfortable in Human Revolution. Now our game's big baddie is an augmented goy by the name of Viktor Marchenko, leader of a splinter group of the Augmented Rights Coalition. Victor you only meet 3 times in the entire game. Once when you're in Golem City doing some casual small talk while dropping some really obvious hints that he's the bad guy. The second time you meet Victor is in Switzerland, where him and his gold mask goons turn full mook and tell you their evil plans. And the third time is a boss fight at the end of the game, which constitutes to the only boss fight in Mankind Divided. One that is hilariously cut short if you have both the kill switch for the bombs and Marchenko. That being said, before the boss fight there's a really great area where you have to knock out a bunch of undercover guards at a party. The key is to not let a hapless partygoer see you stab the hell out of a guy, causing a panic. So you have to quietly knock them out one by one while remaining unseen. So when you go through a really well done area that tickles the brain, it is rather disappointing to be rewarded with such a lackluster final boss. While good old Victor might not be the most interesting villain in Deus Ex, at least he and a lot of other characters have competent voice actors. Though having terrible voice actors spewing nonsense in a terrible accent or ebonics is sort of a staple of Deus Ex.
Well, shit, if it ain't the captain himself.
I ain't no guinea pig. Ain't no way I was getting off just to keep my job. I ain't no guinea pig.
Oh my God, JC, a bomb! A bomb.
Oh my God, Daddy!
What a shame.
He can't really be... There must be something we can do.
He was a good man. What a rotten way to die.
But even though we got some better voice actors, we lost the original voice actor for David Seraph. I wonder why.
Boggles. Granted, I did smoke a little bit of weed tonight, but that's not I don't think that plays into it. The speck is not a speck. This fucking speck, this little innocent speck, is a fucking fruit fly, man. A fully fucking equipped Area 51, deadly, dangerous fruit fly.
And after just playing through Human Revolution recently, the change is really jarring. While we're talking about the audio-visual aspects of Mankind Divided, we have yet another well-done soundtrack from Michael McCann. Not much to say other than it works really well, and is what you would expect out of the man who scored Human Revolution. Though it is a shame that the one aspect of the pre-order that I wanted the most, which was the excellent soundtrack, didn't even come in full. And here, boys and ghouls, is where we witness the full meddling of Square Enix. For reasons unknown, apart from, greed, Square Enix has thought that it would be a great idea to package a few extra unnecessary modes, like Breach, where you go into the NSN simulation and, do things? Now you're probably thinking, well, gee, Tom, it's just one game mode, it can't be that bad. And to that I say, shut up you dirty hippie, and let me finish. In addition to an incomplete sampler, Square has added one-time use items and microtransactions. Yes, you heard that right, ladies and gents, microtransactions. The microtransactions are for Praxis kits, money, stuff, and weapons. Now immediately for someone like myself, that's a really huge red flag for the industry. To see something like microtransactions creep into a AAA RPG like that is concerning, and I hope it doesn't rear its ugly head in for the sequels. Another equally annoying gripe is the fact that those fancy weapons you get upon pre-ordering the game are one-time use. Once you redeem it in one playthrough, you can't claim it in another run-through of the game, which is genuinely bogus. At that point, why even go for a pre-order to begin with when you don't get to use the item as many times as you wish? But ultimately, the worst of Square Enix meddling is the fact that a lot of Mankind Divided feels missing. There are numerous missions that have no definitive ending, especially the main story. The amount of loose ends is almost baffling. It feels like once you reach the end of the game, you completed the first act. Stuff like a quest to find out where the mystery Augs came from, or who's Janus of the Juggernaut Collective, is just conveniently left out for the sequel. Now, Square Enix feels that you completed the first act in a trilogy, but I'm sitting here feeling like I just finished the first act of the game, let alone a trilogy. And after an awkward segment where you watch Eliza Kazan for a long 5 minutes describe you some of your actions, it then immediately rolls to the credits. When I finally realized that, yes, those are the credits, I audibly said, wait, that's it? And ultimately, wait, that's it, is how I feel about the whole game. After 5 long years in development, this is what we got? So even though I did immensely enjoy some portions, I left disappointed, hungry for more, and not a, I'm full and I kinda want some more hungry. It's more of a, oh my god man, I'm starving to death hungry. So it is with sadness that I rate Deus Ex Mankind Divided a 6 out of 10. An incomplete story, extra unnecessary game modes, and downright stupid decision on Square Enix's part stifled what could have been a great game. I would recommend that you wait till Mankind Divided is either on sale or the price is lowered before you go for a romp in its cyberpunk jungles. And with that, this is Tom the Chosen One, and I'll see you guys next time.